Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Software. Today I'm going to be unboxing this MK1 Carbine by KJ-Works. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do consider liking, commenting, subscribing, because those interactions help me get seen by the YouTube algorithms, and that helps the channel to grow. If you want to support the channel a little bit more, please use the Linktree link down below to visit my socials, including my Discord, stop by and say hello. And if you want to support the channel at the highest level, the join button down below will take you to channel memberships. 99p a month, totally optional, really appreciated. Custom videos, custom giveaways, your own chat section in the Discord, that sort of thing. So we'll get started. First of all, massive shout out to Lowy for letting me borrow this from him to do an unboxing for, and I'm pretty damn excited. I have the KJ-Works MK1 pistol version of this for Pheas Junior, and we absolutely love it. It's a great piece, and I'll comment on that a little bit as we go through this unboxing. So this is the carbine. So this is the much longer, or some parts of America, carbine, if you have heard it, also called carbine as well. So whichever is your preference for naming it, I will be calling it carbine. I apologize. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I'll not discuss that further. So the box then, we have just got a polystyrene tray underneath. We've got a cardboard box lid then that just tells us that it is the KJ-Works MK1 Carbine. Link to their website, and that is about the sum total of everything on there. So I'll get that lifted up. There she is. Now, it's one of those strange ones. It's small, but it's also not small at the same time. It's quite a hefty size. So we'll start with the accessories. There is a slot there. Some people I've seen, some retailers seem to sell it with an additional magazine, so it comes with two. This one's just got one included. In here then, we've just got a little bag of beebs. Probably never see the light of day again. Probably not the best quality, so we'll leave them there. And then nicely bagged up for us is the MK1 Carbine. So let's put my hand in. Get that out of the way, get that out of the way. No other manual seems to be in there, nothing. So it is unbelievably light, but it's also like deceptively large and deceptively small, because it is so wiry and slim. You get the impression of it being significantly smaller than it actually is. So we'll start at the front then. We have got a metal outer barrel then. So we've got a front sight post there that is just a stand-up notch, and we've got an outer barrel that is a plastic, no it's not, it's metal outer barrel. I do not believe that's threaded at all in any way, shape or form. There's a pin in there which you knock out, this will lift off, which allows you to then, I believe, remove this. I think it just pulls out basically, but we'll have a look at that in a separate video. So coming back then along the barrel, we've then got our handguard, which is just a sort of plastic handguard, which is surprisingly comfortable with a made in Taiwan sticker on it. We've then got an included rail unit on top, which is really quite nice to have that there, that there is a rail unit on top. And we've got here a teeny tiny little hole in that rail unit there. That teeny tiny hole right there is your hop adjustment, which I'll talk about shortly. We've got a trigger, which I'll drop the magazine out. There is a magazine, which I'll talk about in a second. And it is a non-blowback, so it is very clunky. It is not a tactically quiet. It's still pretty quiet, but you have got that thudunk firing mechanism. You have got a rail on top to mount something. You've also got the rear sight, which is fairly easy. I don't know if I've got enough room. Move that out of the way to get down the camera. Not quite enough room to get down. It is fairly easy to acquire targets, but depending on your use case, they are probably not going to be much good, and you probably want some sort of like low level of magnification optic on there of some variety. We've then got what looks like a charging handle, does nothing, it's just plastic. We've then got our safety, which is up for safe, down for fire, and it does say S and F in there, so you've got F and S, and that's nice solid, and off you go. We've then got our plastic stroke polymer pistol grip that includes the extension of the stock as well, which is just a plastic wireframe. Now there is virtually no flex. I'm really squeezing on that, and there is little to no flex in that. Now I'm not I can't comment on the quality of this join and how well that would take knocking about. Having had one of these previously, and I used to have it strapped to my webbing, just loosely flapping about, just for if I wanted a longer range shot. It coped absolutely well. Got odd marks on it, but it never broke on me. But I don't want to sort of comment on how good that could be. So if there was going to be a weak point, I would expect it to be around there somewhere in general. Okay. So the magazine then, the mag catch is a little bit tactically annoying because it is just that tiny little hook there. So the magazine just goes in and clips in, and that's just locked it in place there. And to release it again, you just have to pull it open whilst pulling out the mag a little bit as well. Now, it might be that you can, well, it's upright, you know, eventually that will bed in, probably come out a little bit easier, but I am having to push and pull at the same time to get that out there. Now, the magazines, I'm finding that with ours, we're getting about 17, 18 BBs, and it's just a single stack, which I'll discuss filling it the sort of the second half of the video. Right now, what I'm excited to do is go and do the chrono with 4 different gases and the range test as well. So I'll be back in a second. We'll see how we get on. Now, I've gone through those fairly quick, and the mag is only probably about 10 or 12 degrees. It's not very warm. So the highest we got was 355 and the lowest was 225. Now, this might be more to do with my can of gas is virtually empty, so I think it struggled to put the gas in. But 423 down to 80. I'm pretty sure the 80 is very wrong because the mag sounds like it's nearly empty. Let's try again now. See what it does now. It's warmed up a tad again. 186. So it's partially to do with lower pressure, partially to do with me firing it fairly quickly. Trying to give it a little bit longer between shots. Wow. So 438, 416, average 423, much more consistent, giving it that extra second between shots. Just seems to be making a difference. That's pretty impressive for something so small and light. Wow. Get a 440, minimum 415, average 425, much more stable, just really like impressive. And I am back. So we've been and done the chrono and the range test. So I'll comment on the range test first because that's probably the easiest one. Now, I'm finding that the hop unit, it probably needs a lot of bedding in, and I'm finding even with the pistol version of this, which is significantly shorter, I've not actually got it to hand today with me at hand today to compare it. Even now, and it's had hundreds and hundreds of rounds to it, it's still not settled in. It's very inconsistent, and that generally seems to match the consensus online, is that they are largely just inconsistent. So short range, they're not too bad. Medium to long range, you know, it's going to take a while, sort of thing. So, and at least initially out of the box, if you're looking for that long range hit, it's probably going to be more luck than actual skill. But basically, there was no included tool, so I've had to use a small screwdriver. Just one second. Actually, can't remember what size it was. I suspect it's my good old friend, the T6. Guess what? It is. It is the good old friend. So I've got a T6 Now, it is an Allen key head in there. I can see down in that hole that it is an Allen key head. I've used a T6 because I tend to find that the Torx heads don't round off like Allen key or hex head parts do. So you need ideally a Torx 6. I'm guessing ours should have had an Allen key because I've seen generally online others have had Allen keys inside the box. This one just did not, unfortunately. So the range then, so it was doing probably around 50 plus meters, but it was so inconsistent. The reason there's no footage is because I can't attach a tracer unit. You literally can't see the BBs. I'm actually filming this away from home, this video, so I've not got quite the normal setup, but you literally can't see the BBs at all, so there's pointless me showing you that video. But you're looking at 50 plus meters, but it's inconsistent. It is very, very inconsistent. It's possibly further, again, because I can't put a trace on it, I can't see it, I'm losing sight after 55 meters. So it's probably going much further, particularly with the FPSs. So that brings me back to the FPSs then. So I've got 4 different gases. I've got 144A, which is the sort of the lowest I've got, and then I went through the green gas, which I'll comment on in a second. Then we did the Vorsk V6, and then I've got Nuprol 3.0. So we'll start with the Predator 144A. So that, the first shot, when I first got this, I did a couple of plinks. I wasn't filming stupidly, and I had 390 out of it. Now, I'm getting, on the Mark 1 pistol with 144A, completely stock out of the box, I'm getting about 345 FPS to 350 FPS out of the box, which is, on 144A, which is quite a low pressure gas, that's immense. And that's, I suppose, part of the power, the beauty of a gas non-blowback, a gas non-blowback, as opposed to a blowback, which uses a lot of that gas to cycle the slide and things like that. What I found is, particularly with this, I was probably a little bit too quick with the trigger. And if you are in sort of like a sniping setup with this sort of thing, if you're using it as that sort of thing, as a little plinker like that, you're probably not spamming that trigger. In fact, I'm not entirely sure how many sites would let you run this like it was a sniper at sniper FPSs, which I'll comment on in a minute. So I found that the FPS dropped fairly quickly, and it went from 355, which is slightly above UK limits, to 225 as the lowest shot. Now, as I slowed down, when I got to the V6 and 3.0, I was finding a lot more consistency because I wasn't sort of hitting that trigger quite as quickly. So I would expect it to be sort of well over 300 every single shot, maybe around that 340, 330 FPS sort of range. I think the 225 was a distinct drop, but it ran it fairly well. And on that as well, because it's non-blowback, 1 fill of gas, you're probably going to get 3, maybe even 4 or more sets of BBs fired out of it, particularly in the summer when it's warmer as well. I mean, this is January, you know, this has been out in my car for a few hours, so the mag initially was only about 8 or 9 degrees, so I've warmed it up as well, sort of, just to make sure everything was all right. Now, the Nuprol 2.0 gas, the green gas, I've tried. What I'm going to say there is that can is virtually empty, there's almost nothing in it. So I think the first shot was spot on, the 423 was the right shot. I don't think I was able to get quite a full fill of gas in that, and I'll tell you why. When I vented the mag, which is not ideal, you shouldn't really vent in mags, you should leave some in there. I had to vent it to change the gases. When I emptied it with a 144A, loads of gas still come out. When I emptied it with a V6 and 3.0, loads of gas came out after I fired a set of BBs. On the 2.0, hardly any came out. So I think the 80 FPS at the bottom end, I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. I think I would expect it to be significantly higher, probably around the very high 300s, possibly into 400 FPS on a full proper fill of Nuprol 2.0 gas. So then we moved into the Vorsk V6 then, and we got 438, which like blew me away, down to 416. Again, I found it a lot more stable because I'd slowed down my trigger pull, so the FPS I didn't feel was dropping as much, but that was just lovely. And then the Nuprol 3.0 performed very, very similarly in that it gave us 440 with the bottoming out at 415. A lot more stable between these two, partially probably because of my trigger discipline than anything. But, you know, felt lovely. So if you are looking and your site says that it needs to go under UK limits, depending on where you are playing, then obviously 144A is going to probably be your winner. Anything else, you know, they're probably going to let you run these. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, about the sniper might not be using, is because it is semi-automatic. There's no bolt to pull, there's nothing like that. It's literally just keep tapping that trigger. So effectively, does that make it a DMR style? And obviously all different sites handle those differently, so you may have to check with them what are they happy for you to run it at, and obviously just changing the gas will change the output that it's doing. So the magazine itself then, like I've said already, I regularly find that when we use the Mark 1 pistol, we're getting 3, sometimes as many as like 6 sets of BBs out of 1 fill of gas, which is absolutely insane. So, you know, I feel safe running with 3-4 mags and just a speed loader, because I know I'm probably not going to run out of gas during that game, because it's so efficient with it. It's part of the beauty of non-blowback. So really, really fantastic. So to fill these up then, I'll show you with a 144A. So keep it upside down so the brass valve is facing you like that, or as near to vertical as possible. Make sure you give it kind of a little bit of a shake just to get the gas moving a little bit, and then just press it in. Now it is a silent fill valve, so you're listening for it, and I always give it an extra couple of little pressers just to make sure that it's gassed up. So that is now gassed up, and if I push lightly on the silver button there, that is the valve. I can feel that's under pressure, and I'm really gonna have to push that to vent that, which I'm not gonna do because it's not very good for the mags to vent it. So to load the BBs then, I'll just grab my bottle of BBs. Again, I'm not at home, so I've not got my speed loader, but basically, you don't even totally need it, it's quite easy. All you're gonna do is just grab this little button here, this little sliding button, and you're just gonna slide it to the bottom, like that, and then you're just gonna pour them in the top, into the feeding hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and one more, 17. 17 BBs in there, nice and ready to go. And if I want to empty it again, all I do is pull the tab down again, tip the fan, and they all just come rolling out. So they are particularly easy to refill and go. And just put those back in there. So, you know, these are very low cost. They are pretty solid. A little bit of rattling because it's a non-blowback. There's a little bit of movement about, but you know, a little bit inconsistent. What they are is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Just something a little bit silly, a little bit fun to have a go with and have a play about with. You know, mags are sort of quite cheap. The fact that they are so efficient with gas makes them quite cool as well. You would have to check with your own site to see what they mandate for them using them. You know, getting it shouldered is quite nice, easy. The shape of the stock is quite lovely as well. Very inconsistent with the hop. I dare say it probably would settle more over time. There seems to be very little out there in terms of upgrade parts of them in any way, shape or form, but they are a lot of fun, and you know, for the low cost of them, generally speaking, they are a lot of fun. I made a boo-boo. I forgot to do the gloved operation, so I'll cut this back in. That's why it looks a little bit disjointed, this video, because I've cut this back in afterwards. So, gloved operation then. I can absolutely definitely click that. It's saying onto safe. I'm back again with gloves. I'm happy with that. I can definitely get the magazine in. Getting it out was also easy as well. I've not got an issue with that. Changing the hop rubber, changing the hop, because I'm using a separate tool, I have got a little bit more sort of awareness and dexterity around knowing that I am adjusting it. So because it's using the tool and I can feel that pressure, I am quite happy that I could easily operate that with gloves on with relative ease. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll leave the usual videos. I will drop a link in the description when the disassembly is out as well. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.